Two major stories this morning. The Kremlin upping its demands over a ceasefire with Ukraine, while a ceasefire between Israel and Gaza crumbles amidst a wave of deadly airstrikes. Joining us live this morning, Liberal Senator and the former Ambassador to Israel, Dave Sharma. Good to have you with us as always, Dave. What are your initial thoughts on this call between Putin and Trump?
Well, it seems to have been tentative first steps towards peace. It seems the commitment that's been made is I think an immediate ceasefire directed against energy and infrastructure targets, and that would obviously be welcome, including for Ukraine that's seen its power infrastructure hit very heavily. But I think what the first call shows is, of course, that there's still a long way to go. There's no discussions beyond that first initial phase. Putin has reportedly made a series of demands, including the cessation of foreign military assistance to Ukraine. I'm curious to know whether that extends to cessation of foreign military assistance to Russia. Of course, North Korea has about 10,000 troops fighting in Russia, and Iran, for instance, has been providing Russia with munitions and drones and missiles as well.
Do you think this also shows that Vladimir Putin is not in any hurry to get this deal done yet, because his land forces are doing well at the moment, particularly in the Kursk region?
Well, I think it's often the way that, when you're making success on the battlefields, you're less willing to come to terms diplomatically, and when the situation's reversed, your position reverses. So I don't think he is in any great hurry. It looks like Ukraine's incursion into Kursk is at an end, or almost at an end. But I would say that the front lines elsewhere in Ukraine have been relatively static. I know Russia has significant pressure on Ukrainian positions in the east of the country, but the front lines have largely held for the last 6 to 12 months. So I don't expect Putin will be in a position to make significant military gains, although he no doubt thinks the momentum is with him right now.
OK, let's switch to the Middle East. Did Hamas leave Israel with any other choice but to strike after stalling on deals?
Look, I don't think they did. I mean, I think Steve Witkoff, Trump's special envoy, has reportedly put a number of proposals to Hamas, Hamas mediators, and Egypt and Qatar have done the same. And from what I understand, Hamas has steadfastly rejected those. Now, phase one of the ceasefire was only ever meant to last 60 days. It's lasted beyond that, but I think Hamas has made clear that it's not interested in phase two, which would involve the return of the remaining hostages. And I think in that situation, my view was always it was a low prospect that the ceasefire would be extended into phase two, and that seems to have come to pass.
Yeah, and Netanyahu this morning saying there's going to be more to come. And just a final point here, and a local one, Dave. The coalition, according to the AFR, looking at upping the defence spend to $15 billion a year. That'd take the total to 2.5% of GDP. Is this true? Is this where the coalition's hoping to land?
Well, I think any policies will be announced in the fullness of time, Pete. But I would say we certainly recognise that our defence needs have increased, and that this Labor government has been far too slow to move forward procurement decisions and fill capability gaps. I think we saw that with the unprecedented PLA Navy circumnavigation of Australia last week, that our defence force was stretched, and part of our series of announcements on this has been, of course, the acquisition of an additional squadron of F-35 Joint Strike Fighters.
It is still a way short of Donald Trump's wishes, though, that we get to 3%. Given the huge spend by Germany this morning, I mean, is 2.5% still too short?
Well, I think at the moment we need to be focused on doing things like accelerating defence procurement and filling capability gaps. I know those are some of the conversations our defence shadow, Andrew Hastie, has been having about how, money is one thing, but actually acquiring capability is almost another process. And we need to make sure that whatever we spend gets us capability, effective capability very quickly, on a much quicker timeline than we've seen under this Labor government.